Hi, welcome to Bonita's Kitchen and thank you for joining us. What I'm going to be making today is a peach cobbler. Now that peaches is in season and we've been getting lots of requests for peach desserts, and of course this peach cobbler is perfect for this time of the year, the summertime, or just for comfort food in the winter if you wanted to freeze your peaches and put there for later on. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to show you some of the ingredients we're going to use, tell you the amount as we go, but we'll start with the peaches, getting them ready to peel. So like I was saying, we're going to start with peeling our peaches. Now normally if I'm eating a peach I will eat the skin and all, but we're going to take this off, and what we're going to do is blanch it a little bit in hot water, and then after shocking it in a bit of cold water, and then the peel comes off a little bit better because I just want to skin a tiny bit off it. And also we're going to do everything in the one pan. So this is going to be done in our cast iron pan. I'm so excited to use this one again today. Any reason to use my cast iron is perfect. So we'll start with sauteing these peaches in some butter and brown sugar, and then after what we're going to do is put everything else into that dish. So let's get started on peeling these delicious peaches. Okay, so as you can see the water is boiling. We're going to be putting 2 peaches in at a time. We don't want to overcrowd the boiler, and we're going to be putting them in there for anywhere from 30 seconds to 1 minute. We're going to be using I'm going to be using 6 or 8 peaches for this dish, and after now, once my 30 seconds to 1 minute is up, I'm going to take it out and put it into this cold water bath. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is shock them into a cold water bath, and then I'm going to start to take the peels off it. So I'm going to continue doing this. I already got one done in advance, just to show you, and these here are not fully ripe peaches, which is perfect to work with, because if it was too ripe it'll be mushy and we don't want that. So I'm going to pop 2 more into my pot, and we'll get those going. And what I'm going to do now is show you how we're going to peel these. Okay, so what we're going to do now is start peeling off the skin for these delicious peaches. And again, it's only just blanched for 30 seconds to 1 minute, and then after put into a cold water bath. And it's not to cook the peaches, it's just to help take the skin off just a little bit easier. So I'm going to do this then, and I'm going to show you how to cut them in wedges. Okay, so this pretty well sums up the amount of time there. Like I said, I got 7, looks like 7 peaches, and this, as you can see, just look, it's very thin. Now if you got another way of peeling your peaches and you want to share that with everybody, you can just send us a little message there on our YouTube channel, or you can send it on our website, which is www.bonitaskitchen.com. And while I'm just peeling this one here, if you haven't already subscribed, at the bottom of this video you can hit that subscribe button, and every time we post a new video you'll get a notification. So this is our last peach here now. So what we're going to do is cut them in wedges. Okay, so what we're going to do now is peel our peaches into little wedges. And these wedges, like I said, these are very delicious peaches. They're not fully ripe, and they're going to be great for this peach cobbler. So what we're going to do is pretty much after that, oh, there you go, we got an accident already on the scene, is just take the peaches in wedges like this and pop it into the bowl. So I'm going to continue doing this with the rest of the peaches, and I'll show you what's next. So pretty much like I was saying, that we're just cutting them in wedges, taking the stone out. And if you want to buy these peaches in season, and I'm having a rough time, they're slipping everywhere, and buy these peaches in season and cut them like this, have them prepared, and then put them in the freezer, in a freezer bag, and then keep it there for when you want them. You could take them out as any sort of a dessert, or if you just want them with a little bit of ice cream. But this is all we're going to do with this today, is cut them in wedges. And now what we're going to do is get them ready to go in the cast iron pot. Okay, so what we're going to be using in here now is 1 or 2 tablespoonfuls of butter. So I'm going to put in 2, but if you only want 1, that's fine. And then I'm going to let that melt down. If you don't have a cast iron frying pan, you could use a regular one. And if you don't want to bake it in the regular frying pan, you can bake it in just an ordinary baking dish. And like I said, the way you would do your any sort of a cobbler, it doesn't matter. But this is the way I'm going to show you how to do today. It's like a deep pan cobbler. Okay, so what we're going to do now is take these delicious wedges of peaches and put them all into the cast iron frying pan and let them start to fry down just a little. We're cooking them, just sauteing them on each side, and then I'll show you what we're going to do next. So as you can see, they're starting to saute nice, got this nice shiny coat. And what I'm going to do now is put in 1 cup of brown sugar and start that melting down with a teaspoonful of cinnamon. And now what I'm going to do is just put in a little bit of zest of a lemon. Just eyeball what you want in there. And if you don't want any at all, you don't have to put it in there. So that was probably about half a teaspoonful. So now just stirring all this around in my cast iron pan. Just look how delicious it looks. I can just eat that now with some ice cream without even having the cobbler part on there. So what we're going to do now is just put this here on a simmer, and we'll start making the batter for the cobbler. Okay, smells so good in here. I'm almost thirsty just to drink even the sauce on this here. So what we're going to do here now is get started making the cobbler part, which is the batter, and we'll need a half a cup of butter or margarine. So that was a half a cup of butter, room temperature, or you could melt it a little tiny bit just to soften it up. And then we're going to be using a half a cup of white sugar, and you could use it a little less if you wish. It's going to have the brown sugar in the peach part, but you still need a little bit in the cobbler part. So mix that together like this until it's creamy. I'm going to be putting in just a pinch of salt, and that could be about about half a teaspoonful or less. And then I'm going to crack the eggs 1 at a time just to check them, make sure there's no shells or anything. See, shell in there, and then toss them in to the batter, and we'll mix that through. Okay, so you're just going to mix those in there 1 at a time. Now the shells of your eggs, now that it's summertime, you clean them well and then crush them and put it out around your plants, your ostices, and anything that I guess insects would want to go on, and use them. And then you're not throwing out a thing, you're keeping everything. And we're not a plant show, but I figured I'd add that in there because my husband's looking at those to put around these. A teaspoonful of vanilla in there. And then next, we're going to sift in our flour and baking powder. So this is moving along nice here now. So what we're going to do is sift in our flour and baking powder. I took my peaches and mixture off the damper and just got it put over on the other stove waiting. And you can turn it off the heat now. You only need it just till it's partly cooked it. So let's sift in 2 cups of flour, and then I'll get the baking powder. And 2 teaspoonfuls of baking powder. So we're just going to sift that on into a bowl to get any lumps out and make it like a cake batter. So we're just going to mix this around. So if you got a KitchenAid, you could use a KitchenAid for this, and that'll make it a little bit quicker for you, of course. But right now I'm just going to show you the old-fashioned way. So you're going to just stir this in together with 1/2 cup of evaporated milk or heavy cream. We use evaporated milk here in Newfoundland and Labrador in most of our cooking and baking, because it's just the cream that our elders used years ago, and I still enjoy using it. So just mix that around until it's all creamed together. Okay, so we're pretty much ready to put this dish together. So right now we got our peaches already partly cooked, sauteed in the cast iron pan, and we got our cobbler batter ready to go into it. So what I'm going to do now is start scooping this on top of these peaches and show you what that looks like. Okay, so we're going to take the batter and we're just going to scoop it equally out into the pan. So you're not getting fancy with it, you're just taking it up and scooping it on the top like this. And you're going to go all the ways around until it's all out there equally. Okay, so you're going to continue putting in equal amounts of the batter. Now you see this in there in little dollops. This will all come together. The peaches is going to float, some to the top, some is going to stay on the bottom, and it's going to go a nice golden brown. So when this comes out of the oven, it's going to look and smell amazing. So pretty much that's all you're going to do. So I'll continue putting this batter into this cast iron pan, and then I'll tell you what's next. Okay, so that's all the batter, and that's pretty much all you need to do to make this delicious peach cobbler. So what we're going to do now is turn on the oven to 350 degrees. Okay, so let's put this in the oven in the center rack in the middle. Leave it there 45 minutes to 1 hour, 350 degrees of heat, and meet me back here when it's baked and I'll show you how to prepare it. Welcome back to Bonita's Kitchen, and thank you for joining us. Our peach cobbler is baked, so let's take it out of the oven. Oh my, it looks absolutely amazing, and the smell, I can't wait to get into it. Just look how delicious this looks. What a beautiful way to celebrate summer with a delicious peach cobbler. And this, all of the juices in the bottom, it smells amazing. And I also got some raspberries that my sister bought to me from last year. She had them frozen because she's getting ready to pick her new raspberries this time. So I'm going to scoop up a nice helping of our peach cobbler into my dish and add some ice cream with it. I can't wait. Come in and have a look. Just look at a nice golden brown the crust is. And this was in there for 45 minutes, but like I said, depending on your oven, you could have it in there a little bit longer or a little bit less. Like I said, when it starts turning a golden brown, you pretty well can say that it's done. And just look how nice and caramelized the peaches are. I'm going to pour that over here with some of the juices, like that. And then I'm going to put a nice scoop of ice cream with it. I'm not going to put it on top because it'll melt too fast. And now what I'm going to do is have a little taste and tell you what it tastes like. So before I have a little taste, because I wanted to have it while it's piping hot, I want to make a little summer drink. Now, this is non-alcohol. You could add alcohol if you wish to. And it's just going to be some ice cubes. I had a request there a little while ago from a viewer to show some summer drinks that's refreshing. So it's just a little bit of orange juice, fresh orange juice, and some ice cubes, and some carbonated water. We're going to put some garnishes on here. I want to put a couple of those frozen raspberries that my sister gave me, and just pour in the carbonated water, a straw, and that'll be nice and refreshing. And if you wanted to take it out into your garden, just put your garnishes into your bottle, put the top on, you can take it out there, sit down in your swing and enjoy it. So now I'm going to have a little taste of our Peach Cobbler. I don't know where to start, and tell you what it tastes like. Oh my, so delicious. All of the flavors, and you can taste a little bit of the cinnamon with the ice cream having it nice and cold and on your palate at the end of it. And have a little taste of my drink to wash it down. Absolutely delicious. I can't wait for you to try it. 2 thumbs up by Bonita's Kitchen. So I hope I got you hungry now to go and make this one. This is a serving for about 6 to 8 people. Again, unless you want to have more for yourself. So if you want to make it into cast iron pot or the pan, that's fine. Or you can start it out in a frying pan and put it in a baking casserole dish and put it into the oven and bake at the same time. But that's all it is, easy breezy. And if you want to buy those peaches while they're in season, blanch them like we did at the beginning, cut them in those wedges, put it into a freezer bag and freeze them and have them all winter long. You would be so delighted. So if you enjoyed this dish, don't forget to subscribe to Bonita's Kitchen. Hit the link at the bottom. Also the recipe for this peach cobbler is at the bottom of this video, and you can visit us on www.bonitaskitchen.com. Send us a message there or on our Facebook page. I got Raymond drooling over there. He's just waiting to get into this peach cobbler. But before I go, I want to thank everybody for all your messages, suggestions, and your recipe requests. I'm trying to get to each and every one of them, so bear with us, and we will. So thank you again for joining us today for Bonita's Kitchen. From our kitchen to yours. Have a wonderful day.